We have breaking news from Kenosha, Wisconsin. A jury has found Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty of all charges connected to shootings in Kenosha, Wisconsin during protests last year. The 18-year-old was charged in the fatal shootings of 2 people and the wounding of another. He claimed he was acting in self-defense. The verdict was read in court a short time ago.
The defendant will rise and face the jury and hearken to its verdicts.
State of Wisconsin versus Kyle Rittenhouse. As to the first count of the information, Joseph Rosenbaum. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the second count of the information, Richard McGinnis. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the third count of the information, unknown male. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fourth count of the information, Anthony Huber, we, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? Is there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read? Would you wish the jury polled? No. Okay.
Freelance reporter Nick Harper has been watching the trial from Washington. He joins us now. So, Nick, tell us about the verdict, not guilty on all charges.
Well, Andrew, as we saw there, as those verdicts were read out, Kyle Rittenhouse found it difficult to stand. He started crying. It looked like he was having difficulty breathing. He was giving water. He was facing homicide and attempted homicide charges after he killed 2 men and wounded another back in August last year. Now, he was found not guilty to all of the charges, but this trial sparked a huge debate right around the country, online, in the courtroom, on social media, about what exactly it means to act in self-defense, because that is what Kyle Rittenhouse said he did. We know that he went to the protests that had been sparked by the police shooting of an African-American man, but he went to those protests armed with a semi-automatic rifle. He argued that he was going to protect the community. He had seen that some shops had been looted and he wanted to be there to protect people on the scene. However, during the course of the night, he was chased by several men. He fell to the ground and someone started swinging a skateboard at him. And it is then that he started firing. And he says that he acted in self-defense because he was cornered and he thought that his life was in danger. But many questions being raised about whether people should be carrying semi-automatic weapons to protests like these and whether they can argue self-defense. The jury, though, sided with Kyle Rittenhouse, agreeing that he had acted in self-defense. We have had some reaction in the last few minutes from the parents of one of the 2 men who was killed. They say that they are heartbroken. They say that the verdict sends an unacceptable message that armed civilians can show up in any town and incite violence. The fear is that there now may be violence and unrest in the city of Kenosha. 500 National Guard troops are already on the scene and some shops have been boarded up. There is a real fear that we could see, as a result of these not guilty verdicts, protests and potentially unrest in the hours to come.
And then, Nick, just finally, this trial had some testy moments, some unusual moments. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it certainly did. The prosecution on a number of occasions was shouted down by the judge. He was yelling at them in the courtroom when the prosecution tried to introduce some evidence that the judge had already ruled as inadmissible. And that led to the defence arguing that there should be a mistrial. The judge decided against that. He decided not to throw the whole case out, but it certainly caused a very fractious atmosphere in the courtroom between the defence and the prosecution and the judge himself.
Nick, thank you. That is freelance reporter Nick Harper, live in Washington.